At 4:30 a.m. on April 29, 2023, a Ring doorbell in El Paso, Texas caught this footage. The footage shows a young woman running up to the front door of a house and ringing the doorbell. Although nobody else can be seen, she is visibly paranoid and keeps looking behind her as if she is being followed. The woman, begging for help, begins to cry when nobody answers the door. A few moments later, a car's headlights come into view in the background. Immediately, she crouches behind a pillar as to hide from the car. She does this again after seeing the neighbor's driveway lights turn on. After a few minutes of waiting, we can see a car's headlights light up the driveway, and the woman walks down towards it. It's possible she got in the car. However, this wasn't captured on camera, so we don't know for sure. When the video was made public, many people suggested that the woman may be a victim of trafficking and was trying to escape her captors. However, some believe she had a completely different motive. Many pointed out that if she was truly in danger, she wouldn't have hid from the neighbors when their driveway light turned on. To add on to this, at the beginning of the video, the woman is seen casually walking up to the door, and it is only when she comes in view with the camera that she begins to run. All of this suggests that the whole thing might have been a robbery setup. A few weeks after the video was uploaded, El Paso police arrested 34-year-old Kristen Nicole for burglary. Many believe she is the woman from the video, however, this was never confirmed. On November 30th, 2021, a Twitter user from Dallas, Texas uploaded a disturbing video her doorbell had captured of a suspicious man standing outside of her apartment. He was captured on video almost every night for an entire month. According to her tweets, she had already reached out to the authorities, but they hadn't done much to keep the man away. This is what her Ring camera captured. In most of the clips, the man is seen standing ominously outside her apartment door, possibly waiting for her to come outside. At one point in the video, the man can be heard talking. However, it is difficult to understand what he is saying. We can't be sure what he planned to do if the woman stepped out of her apartment, but judging by his behavior, it likely wasn't anything positive. After the initial upload, the video immediately went viral, with lots of people checking in on the woman to make sure she was okay. 2 days later, the woman would post an update on Twitter, in which she said her friends and family confronted the man, and that security was looking for him. There haven't been any updates since December of 2021, and the man's identity has not been publicly revealed. In 2022, a Reddit user uploaded this Ring camera footage with the caption, "Zombies want your brain." The video shows a young man in a bandana covered in what appears to be blood, repeatedly slamming himself into the front door of a house. On his third attempt to knock down the door, he appears to knock himself unconscious after slamming his head on the door. After the impact, the man collapses over the front porch railing. We can hear him groan in pain as he flails his arms trying to get back on his feet. The video ends before we can see what happens next. After the video was uploaded, tons of viewers commented that the man was probably under the influence of hard drugs, which would explain his uncoordinated movements and violent behavior. Other users suggest he might have had a seizure after hitting his head on the door. But because the video was uploaded with no context, we cannot know what actually happened. The man was never seen again. In February of 2020, an off-duty police officer received a message from his neighbor asking him to go check on his wife because someone was attempting to break into their house and the woman was home alone. The man quickly walked across the street to his neighbor's house, but didn't see anything suspicious. When he returned, he saw that his neighbor had messaged him this clip. The video shows a shirtless man crawling up the stairs to the front porch and attempting to open the door. After trying and realizing it was locked, he made his way down the stairs into the side of the house. Upon seeing the footage, the man called the authorities, and 10 minutes later, 10 cops arrived in the neighborhood, along with a canine unit to attempt to track down the intruder. An intense pursuit between the neighbors, police, and shirtless man began. Despite being spotted by neighbors multiple times, he managed to slip away from the cops every single time. Several minutes later, the man heard his neighbor calling from across the street, saying that he could see the man in his backyard. The two men searched the backyard and found that the back porch light had been unscrewed, but the shirtless man was not found. Around an hour later, the man who uploaded the video spotted the shirtless man unscrewing the porch light from a house across the street. With a weapon in hand, the man confronted the intruder and commanded him to get on the ground. The shirtless man ran and ended up hiding in a neighbor's crawl space under the house. The uploader waited for the police to arrive. After the intruder was caught, he was charged with 2 counts of aggravated burglary, trespassing, public intoxication, and disorderly conduct. It was July 24, 2021. A woman named Caitlin Curtis took her baby to the park near her house in Arizona. After sitting on a bench near the fountain, a rugged-looking man approached her and sat down next to her, asking if she wanted to buy his drawings. According to Caitlin, the drawings looked as if a little kid drew them, or someone with no artistic talent. After politely rejecting his offer, she got up and left the park with her baby. As she was leaving, she watched the man get into the passenger seat of a suspicious-looking truck at the other side of the park, which circled her several times on her way home. Afraid of being followed, she took a different route back to her house and entered through the back gate so the men in the truck wouldn't know where she lived. 3 days later, when Caitlin was out of town, her doorbell camera caught the same man walking up to the front door of her house and ringing her doorbell at 3 in the morning. According to Caitlin, her husband was asleep while the whole thing was happening and wasn't aware of the man's visit until the next day. After the video was uploaded to TikTok, some users noted that the fact that the man rang her doorbell specifically was not a coincidence, and that he had probably been watching her from the day they met in the park. It is possible that the drawings were a distraction for the other man in the truck to kidnap her child, but we'll likely never know his true intentions. In Flint, Michigan, on April 24, 2023, a man caught this footage on his Ring cameras. The house had 2 cameras, a Ring doorbell camera, and a camera above the garage. It was around 10 p.m. when a man in a red jacket and another person behind him are shown approaching the front door. Instead of knocking or ringing the doorbell, the man in the red jacket immediately attempts to kick the door in. The impacts made the Ring camera fall, but luckily the door didn't budge. After the attempts to knock down the door, the man walks around to the side door of the house and again starts to try to kick it in. By this time, the homeowner was wide awake in a panic and checking the cameras for an explanation. First, they saw the doorbell on the ground, so they switched to the camera above the garage. With the banging noise ringing through the house, they saw the 2 men attempting to break in. The homeowner's voice over the speaker was enough to scare the 2 men off. Police were then called to the scene, and after reviewing the footage, noted that 1 man was armed. The intentions of these 2 men are still unknown. It was 3 in the morning on April 9, 2023 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The homeowner was asleep while this clip was recorded. It wasn't until they woke up and saw the footage that they realized any of this happened. They reviewed the footage, horrified. This is what they found. A woman is shown making several attempts to get into the house with several different keys, even looking for a hidden one. The homeowner had never seen this woman before. They said that the woman later began throwing rocks at his car and trying those locks. It's likely she was under the influence of hard drugs, but we can't know for sure. Multiple times she attempts to insert keys into the doorbell camera itself. After a few minutes, she walked off and was never seen again. The woman was never identified.